In the heart of a remote African village, nestled deep within a valley of dense forest and towering mountains, lived a young woman named Zala. The village was a place where traditions ran deep, and superstitions held sway over the minds of its inhabitants. The people believed that the spirits of their ancestors roamed the land, and that the earth itself pulsed with ancient magic. Zala was the pride of the village, known not just for her breathtaking beauty, but for her warm, generous spirit. Her skin gleamed like polished ebony, her eyes sparkled with the brilliance of the night sky, and her smile could melt even the hardest hearts. She spent her days helping the elderly, comforting the sick, and laughing with children. Everyone adored her. Among the village men, one stood out, Malik, the son of the wealthiest landowner. Malik was tall, charming, and magnetic. He carried himself with confidence and grace, and many believed he was destined for greatness. For years, the villagers spoke of Malik and Zala as the perfect match, destined to unite their fates. Zala dreamed of that union too. She and Malik had shared a bond since childhood, their friendship evolving into a love as natural as the flow of the river they often sat beside. Zala believed that Malik would soon ask for her hand in marriage. She could already envision their future together, but fate, as it often does, had other plans. One fateful day, as Zala returned from the market, she overheard whispers that stopped her in her tracks. The villagers spoke of Malik's impending marriage, but not to her. Instead, he was to wed her closest friend, Kaya. Kaya, ambitious and strikingly beautiful, had long admired Malik's wealth and status. For her, he was a means to power and influence. The news struck Zala like a thunderclap. Her heart shattered, and the world she had dreamed of crumbled. Betrayed by the man she loved and the friend she trusted, Zala withdrew from the village. Her once vibrant presence dimmed as she spent her days in solitude, her mind tormented by grief and disbelief. The villagers noticed her withdrawal but didn't know how to comfort her. And as Malik and Kaya's wedding day approached, Zala's sorrow darkened into something deeper, something more dangerous. On the night before the wedding, unable to bear her pain, Zala made a decision. She would confront Malik and demand to know why he had betrayed her. As the village slept, Zala wrapped herself in a shawl and ventured into the night, her steps guided by anger and heartbreak. She arrived at Malik's home to find it dark and silent. Undeterred, she began to search for him. The thick fog of the night wrapped around her like a shroud as she called his name. The whispers of the forest seemed to mock her as she reached its edge. Rumors had it that Malik and Kaya had been meeting there in secret. The forest was suffocatingly silent, its ancient trees casting shadows that twisted like grotesque figures. Still, Zala pressed on, her determination unshaken. But that night, she vanished. The next morning, Zala's lifeless body was discovered at the riverbank. Her face was frozen in a grimace of anguish, and her hands clutched her chest as though she tried to fight off some unseen force. The villagers mourned her loss, but whispers began to spread. Some claimed Zala had taken her own life in despair, while others believed her spirit had been claimed by something far darker. Despite the tragedy, Malik and Kaya's wedding went ahead, yet joy was absent. Shadows seemed to stretch unnaturally long that day, and the air was heavy with unease. In the weeks following, the couple moved into a grand home on the edge of the village, eager to begin their new life. But peace eluded them. The hauntings began subtly. Doors slammed shut on their own. Mirrors cracked without reason. At night, they would hear whispers, Zala's voice calling Malik's name. Malik's dreams grew vivid and terrifying. Zala would appear, her once radiant face pale and contorted with rage. "You cannot escape me," she would whisper. Kaya, too, was tormented. She awoke with bruises on her arms and found her hair falling out in clumps. Her once luminous skin grew gray and withered. The house itself seemed alive with malice, the walls groaning and shifting as if they bore witness to the guilt that permeated the air. Desperate, the couple turned to the village shaman, Ebele. a man known for his ability to commune with spirits. Ebele listened to their pleas, his face grave. Zala's spirit cannot rest, he said. Her death was no accident. She seeks justice. Malik's face turned pale as memories he'd tried to bury clawed their way back. Kaya had convinced him that Zala was an obstacle to their happiness. Together, they had ensured her silence. Now, they were paying the price. Ebele warned them. You must confess your sins and seek forgiveness. If you do not, Zala's wrath will destroy you. But Malik's pride won over his fear, and Kaya's ambition sealed their fate. They refused to confess. That night, Zala's vengeance reached its peak. Malik awoke to her spectral form hovering over him. Her eyes glowed, and her voice, laced with venom, declared, "You will suffer as I did." By morning, the house was empty. The villagers found only walls smeared with dark, unexplainable stains. Malik and Kaya had vanished, but Zala's presence remained, a ghostly reminder that betrayal never goes unpunished. Her story became a legend, a chilling tale of love, betrayal, and vengeance whispered through generations, warning all who dared defy justice.